Hello, friends. In this episode, I sit down with Michael Barayev. Michael is an entrepreneur and mega viral Instagram and TikTok influencer. In this episode, we talked all about Michael's journey, which has been nothing short of fascinating and riveting. Michael really has a coming from the bottom story, and it was really fascinating. We get into it. He talks a lot about how he took his childhood traumas and pains and found the lessons and blessings, as he put it, and really made his life the successful life that it is today. Obviously, he's still growing and whatnot, but it's remarkable. His story is fascinating, and it's what movies are made out of. So I hope that you get the value from this conversation that I did, because it genuinely inspired me. So I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Enjoy. Additionally, guys, be sure that you are subscribed, following, leaving comments, sharing the episodes. It really goes a long way to help the channel. I'm so grateful for all of you that listen, and I love putting out this content. And if you enjoy it as well, go ahead, hit that follow and subscribe button, and I look forward to connecting with you. Michael Barayev, man, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. I'm so excited to have you today and to ask you incredible questions, man, and just to meet you. But first of all, do you want to just give a little intro about yourself and all the stuff that you're doing now? I know that you have a solar company and you have a pop on Instagram and other social platforms.
Yeah, so pretty much I don't sell solar anymore. So what we have is a platform where we pretty much hire sales guys, whether it's door to door, whether it's through a call center, and we pretty much train them and teach them how to sell. And we sell multiple different products. I've sold in the past, decade plus, all kinds of products: home security products, telecom products, solar products, water filtration products. I mean, we've sold it all. So our whole goal is
Mhm.
to inspire these sales guys, teach them and train them how to sell, and they go out there and sell the products, whether it's door to door, face to face, business to business, or over the phones.
Okay, interesting. So, what do you consider the most important attribute when you're evaluating a sales guy? Like, what is it that you're trying to teach them? Are there any core concepts?
I look for three things when it comes to hiring salespeople, right? Number one, you have to have a desire for something. Most people don't have a desire for something, right? So you have to have a dream or a desire or some kind of like something that fires you up, something that excites you, right? About your future. So if they have something that they want, like a burning desire, it's very easy to stimulate them and kind of direct them on what direction to go into. So I look for someone that has a burning desire. Number two, I look for someone that has a work ethic, right? And a lot of people talk about work ethic, work ethic, work ethic. But in reality, what is work ethic, right? Most people can't even define what work ethic is. And to me, work ethic is doing the things that you don't want to do, knowing you have to do it to get the result that you want, right? Nobody wants to go to the gym in the freaking 6 in the morning or 8 in the morning, right? But you still do it because you want a specific result. And if you're able to stay consistent on doing the things you do not want to do to get what you do want, that is what work ethic is about. And discipline, I always say this: discipline is basically saying no to everything and saying yes to the result that you want, right? Because you got to say no. And a lot of people are not willing to do this. So I look for someone that has a good work ethic. And number three is someone that's coachable, right? They have a coachable
Mhm.
mindset and they're willing to learn and grow, become a better individual. That is someone that I can invest in, because I know for a fact that if they shut up and listen, do exactly what needs to get done, over time, they'll figure it out and get the result they actually want to get.
I love that, man. And to me, like when you're talking about the discipline of saying yes to the things that you want to say yes to and no to the things that you don't, I know how hard it is sometimes to get up early in the morning when you really don't want to get up and all that. And it's like, do you have any tips or like thoughts on how it is that you can impart discipline on people?
Perfect. So when it comes to discipline, right? In my opinion is this: discipline is doing things that you don't want to do to get the result that you want. And I have learned that, waking up in the morning, going to the gym, going to synagogue if you're Jewish, whatever it may be, you just don't want to do it sometimes. But a lot of people, they let their feelings dictate what they need to do. And I have the
Hmm.
complete opposite mindset. I don't let my feelings dictate what I want to do, because feelings and emotions are up and down, left and right. Sometimes you want it, sometimes you don't want it. And, it's just all over the place. But you want to have something that's constant. So I learned that I do not let my feelings dictate my actions. I create my actions, and my actions will dictate my feelings, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. Because if you learn how to get your feelings right, yeah, you may get it right once, twice, three times, but feelings fluctuate. Emotions are meant to be up and down. Like, for example, I learned this from, I saw this a video a couple of days ago. I think it was a rabbi that made this video. He said, what's more important in a relationship, love or respect? And a lot of people, they say, oh, you want to have love. Well, that's not necessarily true, because love fluctuates. It goes up, it goes down. You could love someone today, you could hate them tomorrow, right? It's an emotion, and emotions are up and down. They're flaky. But respect is constant, right? Because respect is illogical. It's about respecting someone as a human being, respecting them as who they are, whatever they be, and just respecting them, right? Just doing the right thing
Mhm.
when they're, when they're not watching, talking good about them, having, maybe in Hebrew, lashon hara, not talking negative about somebody, right? So that's the respect part. That can be constant. And if you respect someone, that can last much. You can have a relation that lasts much longer because of respect versus just having love. Because love is up and down, left and right. So love is the cherry on top. If you add love on
Mhm.
top of respect, now you can have a successful relationship. It's the same thing in business, the same thing in life and personal development. You have to learn how to get your actions right, and then you will feel good. The feelings are just the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. So
Yeah.
most people have a different mentality. They want to feel good before they go do something, right? And that's more into your feminine energy. But as a man, as a masculine energy, you got to go do things. And because you do it, you will feel good.
So I love that, and it's fascinating, and I think, myself included, I know what the right things to do are, let's say, right? And then sometimes I just don't do it. Like this morning, I'm supposed to go to a jujitsu gym, and like happens to be my baby was crying. I got up at the alarm, and then I had to feed her. But then by that time, it was like I was too tired, and I didn't end up going. And it's like, all right, fine, I'll go on Monday, whatever, and I probably will. But like that's like a perfect example where it's like I let the emotions get the better of me. Do you have thoughts on? Most people probably do know what they want to do. How do you just? Is it just like don't be a B word and just get it done?
So you have to understand that when you don't do certain things, for example, I'm not going to blame you, but just understand this,
Yeah.
right? No one's going to put you in a headlock and say you're a bad person. But you have to understand this because you didn't go to the jujitsu today in the dojo, you have a little guilty monster that jumped on your back today. And you know it. Your wife doesn't know it. Your brother doesn't know it. Your cousin doesn't know it. Your sister doesn't. Nobody knows it, but you know it. So you are carrying that little guilty monster on your back today. And guess what? Tomorrow, when you don't go to the gym again, guess what happens? You're basically saying, "Here, eat some more. Get bigger and bigger and bigger." And as he gets bigger, he gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And he's on your back. And you see how people can crumble in life because they literally have the big guilty monster on their back, and they go to sleep with that guilty monster. They wake up with that guilty monster. And what you need to do is forgive yourself from what you didn't do in the past, whatever it may be. Draw the line in the cement, not the sand, because sand can move around. In the cement, get rock hard. And now you focus on the future. Don't think about the fucking things that you didn't do. It's okay. But you got to start matching your words with your actions, and then you start having self-respect, right? A lot of people, they want to feel good and have all these amazing emotions. They want to be a champion in boxing, whatever it may be. You're not going to do that if you don't learn to do things that you do not want to do, right? You don't want to
Mhm.
do it. So I've tricked my brain to say, hey, because I don't want to do it, I have to do it. There's times where I
Mm.
don't want to go to the gym, and that's a little clear sign. Oh, I don't want to do it. Now I have to do it, right? I choose to do it, if you want to use a better word, right? I choose to do it when I don't want to do it. So the second the thought comes in, like, Michael, you don't want to go to the gym today. Fuck it. You can relax. The second that comes in, I execute on what needs to get done. Like, okay, now I have to go to the gym because I didn't want to, right? It's the days that I
Dude, yeah,
want to go
that's
to the
yeah.
gym, I can say, hey, I could kind of step back. And those are usually the rest days, right? But the
Mm.
days I don't want to go, I have to go. Like, I didn't want to go to the gym this morning. Guess what? Because I didn't want to go, guess what happened? I got up, went to the gym, did what I needed to do. And you feel amazing after you get the action done. So most people look for the feeling of amazing before they do it. No, no, no. I did it. And after the gym, like, thank God I went to the gym because I feel amazing.
Mm. That's beautiful. So it sounds like you're saying don't let the guilt overrun, forgive yourself, and then when you draw that line in the cement and start to choose a better lifestyle, it also probably gets easier with time where it's like you're practicing doing what you don't want to do.
Most people they live a guilty life because they say so many things. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. They speak out loud and they don't get anything done. So I'm the kind of person like if I say I'm gonna do something, it gets done. Right? 90% of the time. Why? Because I know that if I say it and if I verbalize it, I have to get it done. Because I know the guilty monster will get big. And I don't want that monster to get big. As a matter of fact, I have no guilt because everything I say I'm going to do, I fucking do it. And if not, I don't execute. Like that's why I'm very afraid to commit to certain things. Right? Like when I started Muay Thai not too long ago, I was afraid to start because I'm like, once I start, I'm never going to stop.
Mm.
Same thing with tactical training, my pistol rifle training. Once I start, I don't stop. Same thing with the gym when I was 17 years old. Once I start, I don't stop. So I make those commitments. I'm like, damn, now I have to add these hours into my life. So those
Mm.
hours that I'm adding into, jujitsu, whatever it may be, right? It's taken away from something else. And I understand that. That's why you can't make so many commitments and so many things. That's why I'm really good at saying no to most people and most things, because I understand that I have to stay focused on one of the things that I committed to first.
How did you get your start in this kind of mindset development, sales training, and building this business?
I mean, this is one of the businesses that we have. The other business is basically we help entrepreneurs and help them with their sales team, which is kind of like how I got into that coaching space because I started doing good with my personal sales guys and I started helping other entrepreneurs as well. But the way that I got into this was because I would say 18, 19 years old. I was confused. I was lost in the sauce. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And a mentor of mine at that time, he wasn't a mentor, he became a mentor of mine. I bumped into him in the gym and he kind of took me under his wing. He had 7 children at the time. To me, it was like, wow, you have 7 children. Can I be your eighth child? Like, how are you feeding them? That's what was going on in my mind. Cause I'm like, there's got to be something this guy is doing right to have 7 children and being able to feed them. So he took me
Yeah.
under his wing and introduced me to a network marketing business at the time. And I learned about personal development at that age. I don't think you would have, I don't think you'll understand the person that I was when I was 19 years old. You wouldn't have wanted to talk to me. Like, I was not the guy that you would say, oh yeah, that guy, he's going to succeed. There's no way. Right. I
Yeah.
was the guy that was put on the back burner. I was, a matter of fact, the guy that you would not pick on a basketball team. Like, I was just not the guy. Right. But what they didn't know was I was the guy on the inside. I just needed to work on it and refine myself. So personal development came to me because I was so sick and tired of living the life of being confused and lost in the sauce, not having what I wanted, having this negative aura around me. I just wanted to change my life. Because the way I grew up, just to give your audience a little bit of background, I grew up in foster care. I grew up with my mom and my dad, having domestic violence at a young age. So my mom and dad killed each other, literally. And at 15, 14 years old, my parents were 14 years old. My parents got divorced, right? And during those years, I was getting kicked out of almost every single school. Got kicked out of 8 schools out of the 9 total. So my life was a living chaos, right? And you're getting mentally abused, physically abused, emotionally abused. I mean, you don't have a fun. It's not fun to go through that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, right? So when I went to foster care 14, 15 years old, my life changed, right? Because it was like, it was so horrible. It was a horrible, it was living at home was horrible, but living in foster care system was even worse. So my life was just chaos up until, 17, 18, 19 years old. And then 19, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to live this life. I don't want to sleep in my car at 19 years old. Like, I just wanted to change my life. I just
Yeah.
needed something and someone to come help me. So that's what, God sent this mentor into my life and it changed my business, changed my life, changed my whole everything because I was like, holy shit, I got to start changing. If I want to see change in the world, in my life, I have to start changing myself. Right. That was the mindset. So before you start seeing changes in your life, you got to start changing yourself. So the first person I got to work on was Michael Barayev. How do I start becoming a better me? How do I become a better version of myself? The 2.0 version of Michael Barayev at 80 years old, where you look back and say, oh my God, you fucked up, or wow, I'm so proud of you because you actually became a twin at 80 years old. So I'm fighting every single day and pushing myself every day and growing every single day to become that version that Michael Barayev at 80, 90, 100 years old, when he's about to die, looks at me and says, wow, we're the same person. We're not two different people. Because I don't want to ever get to that age and say, holy shit, I could have been this person. I should have done that. No, no, no. I want to literally do that now so I could become that person at the end. So that's what drives me on a daily basis because I want to become better for me. And because I become better for me, people around me can feel that positive vibe as well.
Wow, man. My mind is first of all blown. I want to, offer, I don't know what the word is, but like my compassion for the tough upbringing that you had, and it's so shocking because I wouldn't have necessarily assumed that. And it's like, you don't know, yeah, you don't know people's stories. And it's like you said, that kid that's getting kicked out of all the high schools, you would think would not become a success.
Listen, I got kicked out of elementary
Yeah.
schools, I got kicked out of middle schools, I got kicked out of high school. So like just my life was just not the normal type of, like, I have a girl that I'm talking to now and she literally lived a regular amazing life. Parents are still together, love each other. Everything was amazing. Things were awesome. That's not my lifestyle. I never saw my mom and my dad kiss. I never saw my mom and my dad say I love you to each other. My mom and my dad killed each other, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally. It was abusive. It was crazy. It was wild. Police coming to the house, hospitalizations, all kinds of crazy shit. That was my story. But I'm not ashamed of that because that's what made me who I am today because I am this abrasive, I don't want to say spear in the marketplace because I've been through tough shit. To me, it's like, it's not a big deal. So what most people
Yeah.
complain about, oh my God, I'm so hurt. I'm like, dude, there's nothing. Right. So I became bulletproof because of the things that I went through. So I don't look at it as, oh my God, poor, pitiful Michael Barayev. I'm like, thank fucking God I went through that because I'm able to go through shit that in business people cry about. I'm like, damn, let's fucking go. Right. So instead of saying, why me, why
Yeah.
me, why me, I always fucking have the mindset of try me, motherfucker. Right. Which is why I love David Goggins so much. I love that guy because he talks about having pain, and most people don't have mental calluses. They're weak. They're weak. They go through a little they sub their toe, they start crying for weeks, right? They don't know how to go through mental pain, emotional pain, or even physical pain, right? So you got to be tested a little bit. And I think life is going to test you either early on in your life or later on in your life. For me, thank God. All the testing was in the beginning. Thank God. Right. So that's kind of like my take on that.
Dude, my mind is blown. And I love that you bring up Goggins because he's such a perfect example. And for you, it's like you took all that pain and you let it callous you and become this person that is not afraid to face what's hard and what's difficult and to grow your business. Do you have tips for people that maybe went through hard stuff? And I know you just shared a lot of mindsets, but like, people that go through hard times and they maybe do say like, oh, poor, whatever their name is. But meanwhile, it's like, how can you take that pain and turn it into like power?
Yeah, it's very simple. I mean, you got to look at your story and your life and say, okay, instead of saying, why did I go through this? Right. In a way of like, oh my God, why me? Why me? Why me? You got to look at it and say, okay, what is the lessons and blessings that I can get from the situation? Okay. Let's say, for example, you grew up in the hood. Great. Why did you grow up in the hood? What can you gain from that? Right. Because everyone wants the opposite of what they grew up with, probably. Right. Oh, I want to grow up this. But you were given a set of cards. You may have not been given 4 aces. You've been given a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 2. What are you going to do with that? Right? Are you going to sit there and cry about with the cards that you've been given, or are you going to figure out a way to get those 4 aces that are out there in the deck? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, you got what you got. Now go handle it. Everyone has a gift that God has given you. God has given you some sort of gift, some sort of talent, some sort of specialty that you're really good at attracting into your life. Some people are good at speaking. Some people are good at music. Some people are good at this. I got good at talking to people, communicating with people. Now, by default, like, just so you understand, that was not my specialty in the beginning, right? That wasn't me. I did not know how to communicate with anybody normally. But to me, naturally, I've learned how to communicate with people over time. It just came natural to me how to deal with people. Ironically, right? Dealing with my background, with who I am today, you're like, holy shit, how did that happen, right? But for me, I figured out what my gifts were. I figured out very quickly what I'm really good at. And I took those gifts and passions and started putting flames on it and gasoline on it instead of crying about the things that I've been through. So you got to look at what you've been through and say, okay, what can I do? What can I offer the world because I went through this? So you may have been abused, you may have been sexually abused, you may have been raped, you may have been molested, you may have been beat up, you may have been whatever. What can you utilize that pain with and kind of transform it to inspire other people? How can you help somebody? Like, I give you an example. I would have never, me personally, it's just not my thing. I'm not into, this doesn't mean I don't help people like that. I'm just saying that when it comes to, you know, girls that have been sexually raped, that's just not my thing that I want to support. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Just when someone says, which charity do you want to support? That's the least on my radar. The charity that I would like to support is children and domestic violence. Why is that? Because I've been through that shit, right? So a lot of times we go through things so we can inspire other people in the same issues that we've been through. So maybe God put you through that issue so you can go help other people that are going through that same issue. So I realized that the reason why God put me through that nightmare of a life in the beginning stages, right, was number one, to teach me a lesson that this is not to hurt you. This is to help you later on be able to relate to people that are in that situation. Because most of the people you're going to hire, which is sales, entrepreneurship, are not going to have easy lives. How can you relate with them if you grew up in a very perfect home? How can you inspire them if you cannot relate with them and understand their pains? How can you be able to change someone's life if you've never been through pain? How the fuck can you do that? In order for you to help someone, you can say, yo, I've been through that, bro. I got you. Get back up, right? That's why I went through what I went through. So a lot of people, they have the wrong perspective on life. They're looking, oh my God, God is throwing all these negative things at me. He's doing that so you can utilize this for your future. You may not understand it today, but there's a reason why later on, right? Like I look at my life with the relationships. I've been through a couple of girlfriends in my life, right? Nothing crazy, because for me to commit to a girlfriend they got to be really someone that I want to spend my time with, right? But I spent 6.5 years with the wrong person. This doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means they're the wrong person for Michael Barayev, right? Great individual, just not great for me. But I spent 6.5 years and it was the wrong individual. Now, does that mean that was a bad decision? No. Everything I needed to learn about what it is to be in a relationship, what it is not to be in a relationship, what to say, what not to say, how to behave, how not to behave, how to take care of them, all of those things I had to learn in that process. Why? Because growing up, I didn't see my mom and my dad have a healthy relationship. I didn't see examples left and right of healthy relationships. Right? If you look at my mom and my dad divorced, my grandparents, my mom's side divorced, my grandparents' father's side divorced. It's like you look left, right, everyone's fucking getting divorced. 70% divorce rate. I'm like, hold on, I don't want that. But I've been through the last decade with the wrong chicks. Not that they're bad people, they're amazing human beings, just not the right fit for Michael Barayev. And I had to change 90+% of the things I needed to change to become the person I am today, to be with the right person. Right? So that when you do meet a girl, which I just met a girl not too long ago, right? We'll see what happens. But she has a lot of the things that I'm looking for because I was able to change, because she would have never been with Michael Barayev if I was a 25-year-old virgin. Right? The person you're looking for has to be able to like the person you are today. And if you cannot change yourself into that person, they're not going to be with you. Give me an example. If you don't take care of your hygiene, this is just an example so people can understand a physical thing. If you look ugly, can you get a hot girl? Probably not. Yeah, you may have a little couple of dollars, but in reality, if you're a 2 and you want to be with an 8, it's not going to happen. But if you can get yourself a 6-pack, look good, look fresh, get a nice haircut, shape up, all this stuff, you can potentially maybe be a 6 as an example. Can you get a 6 or a 7? Maybe. but you will never attract what you want. You will always attract who you are, right? And you have to change yourself to become that right person so you can attract the things you want in your life. And most people, why me, why me, why me? And that's why they're stuck in the same situation years in, because they're not looking at it from the right angle. I learned this from one of my mentors. There's two things you have to have: the right language and the right lens, meaning the words that you speak and the way you see things. If you can master those two things, you'll have a different life than most people. What is your language? What is your lens? How are you seeing things? How are you speaking about things, right? When things are not going your way, you're saying, oh my God, this shit sucks. Or you're saying, oh, that's interesting. How come that's going this way? What can I learn from this perspective? I failed. You know how many times I failed? 90+% of my business is about failing.
Hmm.
I failed more than most people because I'm okay with failing. I don't need to be this successful guy on the internet. Who gives a shit? 90+% of successful people are failing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. They just don't share their failures on the open. But I'm failing right now. I have one of my marketing campaigns that's not working right now. It's a fail. I hired the wrong person last month. It's a fail. Everything is about failing forward. But most people are afraid of going through the failures because they're afraid, what? Of being ridiculed, criticized, and looking perfect in front of the fucking world. Where me, I get 2 squirts of piss how people think of me. I only care about being respectful to people, helping people out. But if you don't like me, that's okay. I had a couple of followers that unfollowed me because I put a video about Trump. Congratulations, douche. I'm not doing it for you. As a matter of fact, you were not meant for me anyway. God bless you. I love you no matter what. You can vote for Biden. You can vote for Hillary. That's your prerogative. I have nothing against you. I have a couple people that I know are communists. I can have a conversation with you. No problem. I don't judge you. I understand. It sounds amazing. Is it practical? No, but it sounds amazing. God bless you. But I just know that, I'm not going to allow other people's opinions to dictate how I live my life. Right. So you got to get good at going through the bullshit and looking at it from the right perspective with the right lens and having the right language about what you're going through. And if you can master those two things, your life will be much easier because you're now able to figure out yourself and then impact other people in the process.
Dude, that's so beautiful. And it's just so many nuggets of gold right there. And I really appreciate that mindset of like failing forward, taking the lessons that you've learned from that and moving forward and being able to help other people in the process and that being so healing. Can you build up the picture more of who you were at 18, 19 and like what your mentor kind of did for you that started turning things around?
Good question. So 18, 19 years old, I'm this young guy that just became, 18, right? Just turned 18. I'm going to college because I had this foster care program was paying me to go to school. So because they were paying me, I was like, fuck it, I'll go to school. The guidance counselors were asking me, what do you want to, study? I'm like, I don't know. One of them said, you're good in business, good in talking to people. I'm like, whatever. So I went with this and I just picked international business with this. You got to pick a minor. I'm like, I don't even know. Marketing, right? International business marketing. I have no idea till this day what that fucking means. Okay. I don't think they even know what it means. Okay. But I just started school and I was learning about biology. I was learning about politics. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing at school learning about biology? One of my majors is about business. Like, I don't care about biology. I like biology, but it's just not my thing. Political science. I was learning anthropology. I'm like, this shit is boring, right? I was getting good grades, but I was only doing it because I was getting paid to go to school. They were paying me like 5-10 grand a semester to go to school, right? I know it's pretty shocking, but the foster care program, there's a lot of programs out there. If you go through, crazy lifestyle, life, there's a lot of government programs that help you out. So long story short, I just did it for the money. And then I realized last semester, which was 2 years in, I was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Right. Because I already at that point started my network marketing business. And in my mind, I was like, I just don't want to do school. I want to be a business owner. I just don't know how, but I have this opportunity. I'm going to go all in. So the person that I was this very aggressive, obnoxious, chip on the shoulder, low self-image, low self-esteem, afraid of failure, afraid of making mistakes, afraid of being alone and making my own decisions because I had no concept of what I needed to do in my life. I was just lost, right? And that's what I want. But I did have a high energy, such high energy that people around me were afraid to be around me because I was super high energy at the wrong moments. Like imagine going to a spa and you're fucking all excited about life. It's the wrong moment to be excited, but if you go into a basketball game, you want to be excited. It sounds fine, right? So I had to learn how to be able to mirror people and communicate with people and listen to people versus just talking and not really listening and understanding people, being empathetic, being considerate, not stepping on people's toes when I was in a room, and just a lot of things that I was just doing the wrong way because I just had no culture, no background. My life was full of chaos. I didn't have time to learn those things I needed to learn that was basics for people in regular society. So that's why it was. And my mentor basically took me under his wing and he said to me, you need to start reading books. And when I went to his house, he's like, do you read books? I'm like, books are for losers. I realized months later that the biggest loser of that day was me, because, reading books is what changed my life. because what he gave me a book is like, just read this book. Readers are leaders. I was like, it was a book called 60 Seconds to Success. I don't even know if it exists anymore, but it was like 60 pages, a sentence on each page with a picture, and that's literally what it was. Right? So 60 days straight. It took me 2 months to read that book, a page a day. That's what I committed to. I did it for 60 days. And I got into the habit of reading. I read the book, Think and Grow Rich. I read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read the book, Magic of Thinking Big. And I was livid. I was angry. I was so pissed off. You would not want to be near me in those days because I was angry because I'm like, why didn't anyone give me these books when I was younger? I was 19 years old, 20 years old reading these books. I'm like, why the fuck no one gave me these books at 12, 13, 14, 15 years old? Because these books would have helped me so much at that time. So I was angry. Most people read a book and be, oh my God, I'm inspired. I wasn't inspired. I was fucking angry. Right. And I started to apply the things that I started to learn and started realizing, wow, what you say matters. Because I read a book by Shad Hemstedler, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And I became obsessed with what came out of my mouth. I became like, if someone said, how's your day? Even though it was a shitty day in reality, I was like, it's fucking amazing. How's business? Amazing. Mom will call me. How you feel? Like, amazing. I have a 106 fever. I'm fucking amazing. Like, just become this obsessive person where everything came out of my mouth was about positivity and things are going my way and everything's gonna go my way. And by default, things started to kind of come together a little bit. Year after year, I was like, holy shit, the things that I'm talking about are actually coming to fruition. And that's kind of like how my life started to change. And I became a big proponent of like speaking the right stuff. And telling my sales guys all the time, speak what you want, not what you have. Have the right intentions with your mindset, your frequency, and your energy, because you're going to get exactly what you put into the world. And that's how I ended up where I am today, because if it wasn't for those things that I've learned in those books and audios and seminars and podcasts and events, I was into personal development before personal development was fucking cool. This was back in 2010. And reading wasn't really cool. Podcasts didn't really exist, but I was sitting there using my car as a university on wheels, had CDs back in the day. You know what I mean? I just became obsessed about changing Michael Barayev. And when you become obsessed about changing yourself to become the better version of yourself, the 2.0 version of Michael Barayev, the 2.0 version of yourself, that's when life gets exciting, right? Because it's a never ending, it never ends, right? Just like learning the Torah, it never ends. There's always things you can learn and learn and learn and learn and learn about yourself, about the world, about this and that. But that's what makes it beautiful, because the chase never ends. And the chase and the process is what most people lack. They forget that the chase and the process is the fun part. The fun part is not the destination. The fun part is not attaining something, right? When I had, the 7 figures in income and profit, they didn't do anything for me. What did everything for me was the journey and the process of getting those things, right? Which is why I'm not a big listen, I'm a big proponent of making a lot of money, but be excited where you are today getting the money, because as you're in that process, learning and growing and making mistakes, that's where the juice is at, not when you obtain the freaking big bag.
Wow, man. Yeah. That reminds me a lot of Jim Rohn has this line, become a millionaire for what it will make of you to get there.
You have to become a millionaire in your mind before it actually happens in reality, right? And most people forget about that. They're like, oh, I want to make $1 million. And a lot of people listen, anybody can become a millionaire, right? Anybody.
Yeah.
But you got to do the actual work. And you can also become a millionaire and lose it all. There's a lot of people that make $1 million in a lottery and they fucking lose it. Why? Because they don't have the millionaire mindset. So it's not about having $1 million in your bank account or 5 million or whatever your goal may be. It's about learning how to be a millionaire here. Because right now, you throw me to fucking Timbuktu, Africa, whatever the fuck you throw me, I will figure it the fuck out. I will figure it the fuck out. I will get myself out of that situation because I've learned how to deal with people. First thing I may have to do in fucking Africa is learn a language. Start going, I don't fucking know, right? It is what it is. But the first thing is a language. But throw me anywhere in the United States, I will figure it the fuck out. Why is that? Because it's not about the actual money in my bank account or the income. It's the mindset, the things that I've learned. And that's what most people run away from. They don't want to learn the skill set and the mindset behind becoming successful. They just want to be successful. And that's not going to happen.
And I hear you saying all this, and I hear you recognizing the power of your words and the power of these mindsets that you were able to adopt from these books. And kind of like what I'm thinking when you were making that point earlier about how even if you were in a terrible mood, you would still say like things are amazing, life is amazing. I'm just wondering, do you find there to be some type of discrepancy between like, all right, like maybe like that'll come across as fake. Like if you're not actually feeling good and you're saying like, hey, I'm amazing. Like, yeah, how do you understand that?
Because, okay, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Both of my grandparents died in the same week. One on Monday, one on Wednesday. Okay. Which is not easy to go through. And of course, there's a grieving process. You have to grieve. Nothing wrong with that. But I literally did not stop working. I literally did not stop letting my business grow. And people thought I was fucking insane. But that wasn't because I didn't have any feelings. Feelings were up and down, left, right. I did not. I said, what would my grandparents want me to do right now? Sit there and mope and grope for the next year about them not being here? They lived a long life. One of them was 70 something, one of them was 80 something. They lived a long life, right? So it's not like they died like when they were 40 years old. They lived a decent life, and it's time to go at some age, right? But for me, I grieved, I cried when the time was right, but I didn't stay in that mode for a very long time because I knew that, okay, what I speak about, what I feel about is going to come into fruition. So I'm not saying you shouldn't be grieving. There's a proper way to grieve, but I did not let that define me and hold me back. There was a time and process to grieve and then right back into what I needed to get back into, right? What would they want me to do? And I think it's just having a very tough upbringing for me that made me tough later on in life. Where to me, a lot of the things that happen to 90% of the people, to me, is like, it's okay. I became mentally bulletproof, right? So is it fake? No, it's not fake. You got to speak what you want, not what you have. What is fake is your feeling, because that feeling is temporary. It's fake. It's not real. What is real is how you view the world, and the way you view the world. I'll give you an example. If you put on glasses that have a black tint, how will you view the world? In a very
Tainted dark.
gloomy
Yeah.
way. So
Yeah.
all I'm doing is just changing my glasses on a daily basis because the way you speak will dictate the color and the lens of your glasses. So
Right.
I like to see it in a clear, very vivid way, colorful, right? Beautiful. Some animals cannot see color. We can. So does that mean the color doesn't exist? No, it's not fake. It's fake based on your perspective.
Mm.
So you got to learn how to change your perspective and say it's not fake. In this reality, it's something actually good. I give you an example. Me getting fired in Time Warner Cable. This was 2015 of September 8th or 9th. I don't remember exact date, but it was in September of 2015. Okay. I was
Mhm.
making about 70, 80 grand a year. That's almost 90 grand, almost 100 grand. And they fired me. The next day, I went to go work for Verizon Files. That day, I was fucking angry. The next day, I was still angry because I had to go do this door to door sales job for Verizon Files. A year later, I made over 100 grand, 139 grand that year in 11 months, by the way. Do you think I would have known that? No. Looking hindsight, I'm like, holy shit, thank God they fucking fired me. Because imagine I would have been stuck in that fucking other job. Right? So for me, like also losing certain contracts, things not going your way. You may think they're not going your way, but what I've realized, everything goes your way. If you have a good connection to God and you have faith, right? Because you cannot have faith and fear at the same time. They don't exist at the
Mhm.
same time. You either have faith or you have fear. And when you have faith, you know exactly that everything is happening for you and to you because God is doing it to help you get closer to your dreams and your goals. You may not understand it, but that's okay. So when you have faith, you don't feel like, oh, it's fake. No, you popped a tire. Great. There was one time I popped 7 tires in 2 months.
Mm.
I don't know why that happened, but I can promise you this: there was a bigger reason that I didn't see and didn't understand. Maybe I popped a tire so I don't get into an accident 6 miles down the road. I don't know that. We don't know the whole
Yeah.
picture, but I have faith that everything happens for me. Everything happens to me. Everyone I ever met, this podcast happened for me. Somehow, some way, someone's going to listen to this. They're going to get inspired. It's going to inspire someone. I don't know. Maybe no one's going to listen to it. Maybe it's just me and you talking. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter, right? To me, I look at everything happens for me and to me. And when you have that kind of perspective and have that faith mindset, you always get what you want. Because if I look back at my life, oh my God, everything happened for me. It's so beautiful. I live a life today that 90% of the people will probably dream of having. And I live it not because I'm so special. I'm humble enough to say this. God has given me blessings beyond my imagination. But I learned that I have to believe in him and let him do his work. Let him work through me. And let him just let me have some faith. You
Yeah.
cannot see it right away. You have to give it some faith and give it some time. And I've always accepted whatever God decides is what's going to happen. Now, this doesn't mean I sit back on the couch and say, okay, God, make me rich. No, I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to act. But if I see something happening, oh shit, maybe it's a sign from God that I need to do this. Great, let me give it a shot. Every single opportunity I've ever had to make money has always come in a it was covered by some kind of bullshit cloth, so to say. It
Mm.
wasn't perfect. But I was like, wait a minute, maybe God's saying I need to do something. Let me look into it. That's how I got into solar, right? One of my clients that I was coaching and helping him out, he was doing solar. And I was like, huh, interesting. He was doing a lot of money. I was like, wait a minute. This guy's coming to me to ask me about tips about building teams, this and that. I'm like, if this guy can do it, I mean, I can fucking do it too. Let me look into that. I started looking into it. Ooh, we started building solar. And it was one of our successful campaigns that we built. So you just don't know, but you have to have faith. And a lot of people don't have that. They live in fear, anxiety,
Mm.
worry, disbelief, doubt. And you cannot have those feelings with faith at the same time.
Can I ask you, how did you come to this idea of faith? Because it's such a beautiful concept, and I don't think it's taught like that, typically speaking. And it sounds like you have such a well-rounded, like, whatever happens to you, it's for a reason, and you have that belief. And whether it's true or not, you obviously believe it is true, but it's like it would be better for you to have that mindset of like, this is actually a good thing instead of
But it
thinking
is
of
a
it as
good thing.
bad.
You just don't see it. Like, give an
Right.
example.
Yeah.
I remember the day my ex was leaving my house and we're breaking up. And at that moment, I was like, It took me about a couple of weeks to get over the situation. I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, this is the best thing ever.
Mm.
She's not for me. Oh, Michael, you wasted 6 years. No, 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 no. Lesson, 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 blessing, 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 blessing. I'm like, holy shit. The amount of lessons and blessings that I got from this experience was incredible. Imagine the next person with all these things that I've learned, I can apply it to them with a fresh slate. I was like, holy shit. They're not going to judge me anymore for the mistakes I made. They don't know the mistakes I made. They have no idea. The new girlfriend has no idea the fuck ups that I had. It's a fresh slate. I'm like, wow, it's amazing. So you see the perspective? I always look at it
Yeah.
from that angle. So it's easy because I look at things as things are happening for me for the better because it's getting better and better and better and better every day. And it really is.
I want to hear like how you develop that mindset and like what tips you have to strengthen that type of belief. How do you carry that with you as well?
It's so hard to break down that mentality. I grew up very, very, very religious in a Jewish culture. Okay. Super religious the wrong way. Forced to do shit. Didn't understand why I was doing it. I was doing it because I was forced to do it. Yeshivas and rabbis, all this stuff. My father, I didn't understand why I was doing it. I was doing it like a robot. And I don't think that's what religion is all about, right? I
Right.
understand there's God and there's religion. Religion is the teaching of men sitting together, coming up with conclusions about what needs to get done so we can understand God better. For me, I was always attached to God. That doesn't mean that I don't want to be part of religion. I think it's a great, beautiful thing if you see it from the right angle. The angle that I
Mm.
saw it from was force. You can't do this. You can't do that. You have to do this. You have to do that. You don't do this. You get punished. All based on fear. And I don't think that's the right way to get people closer to religion. That's a Christian way of doing things. You don't do this, you get smited, you go to hell. Like that's not the like people should be doing things because they desire to do it. Because they do it based on fear. When you're not there, they don't want to do it. But when you're there whipping them, they're gonna fucking do it. So for me, it was a very challenging situation, right? I was super religious, more religious than most rabbis, like to high levels where I was Chafetz Chaim. I was gonna go to Chafetz Chaim, study Gemara, do all these different things, and then all of a sudden, at 14 years old, I get off the freaking derrick and completely go anti everything to the point where I was eating pork and I was eating burgers, cheeseburgers. I didn't give a shit, right? And I was not going against God. I was going against the rules that I thought were just bullshit at the time, right? Now, after
Mhm.
years later, I'm 32 years old. For the past couple of years, I've been going to synagogue on Friday nights. I do tefillin every morning. Am I religious? No, by far. Am I closer to God than I ever been? Absolutely, right? So I still have work to do on the religion aspect, but on the God aspect, I got so much stronger on this area because my relationship and my connection with God has been so at peace because I respect God. And I always say this, I'm a pawn in front of God. I'm a king in front of the world,
Mm.
which is where my confidence comes. You're like, wow, you might be so confident. Yeah, because in front of the world, I can get shit done. Let's go. Let's fight. Let's win. Let's grow. In front of God, I'm a peasant. I'm nobody. Because he can literally do this and everything disappears from me. Because I know the ultimate power comes from him. So I humble myself on a daily basis because that's where I know the power comes from. And I'm very respectful and very thankful and very grateful. And a lot of people, they don't have gratitude. They're not grateful. And maybe I'm grateful because I lived in a life where my parents, were making $11,000 a year collectively. In today's money, it's about $18,000 a year. We grew up in a one-bedroom apartment. I lived in a living room my entire life. That's not normal, especially with the domestic violence on top of that, with the crazy shit, with child protective services coming. That's not a normal life for a child to go through. But that's okay. That humbled the fuck out of me. So it made me become super grateful for the life that I have today. When I come home every single day, I look at my view, look at my apartment, right? And I look at the way I live, how I live. I can eat whatever I want, go wherever I want, do whatever. Like next week, I'm actually going to Uzbekistan on Sunday for
Oh,
two
nice.
weeks. Me and my brother David are going there, going to Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan. We're going to, and to me, it's like I could have never done this if I wouldn't have changed myself.
Mm.
Yeah, most people can do it, $2,000, $3,000, whatever it may be. It's not a big deal. But like I've traveled the world and I've humbled myself to the life that I live today. By far, I pinch myself saying, what did I do to deserve this? All I did was work, knock on some fucking doors, get rejected, have God's blessing. That's literally what I did. Inspire some people, hire people, motivate them to go out there to do the work they need to get done. And I got blessed by doing so. Not that complicated.
Yeah.
Right. So I just think that having faith, starting with God, the relationship you have with God is super important because it takes all the pressure off of you. The pressure is not on me, it's on God. And a lot of people say, oh, I believe in God. Really? Shit doesn't go your way. What do you say? When you think shit goes your way, you're like, oh, yeah, I love God. But when shit doesn't go your way, what are you saying? There's a lot of things that are not going my way, the way I see things from my perspective today. but I change it. How can it be going for me? How could this be for me? How can this be benefiting Michael Barayev and his future family? Whoa, I like that perspective. I like that. Maybe God wants me to go and find a new channel. Maybe God wants me to do this. Maybe, and you start thinking in a way where God has got your back. And when you feel like that, you know He got your back. So it's just learning that God has your back, but you have to learn how to build that relationship with God. And most people, they claim they're religious. They read out of a book, in my opinion, no disrespect, but their connection with God is zero. They're just doing it because they're supposed to do it.
Mhm.
Where if you can connect the connectivity part of God and trust God and believe in God, have faith in God, and the religion, oh, dude, you're a dynamic duo.
Have you had experiences where you feel like you did connect with God? What did that look like for you?
You feel this euphoric feeling that things are going your way, even though you're going through a shitty situation. Like I remember last year, me and my girl were breaking up. I felt euphoric. I felt free. I felt good. I'm like, God, I know there's something beautiful coming out of this. It may not be this month, but I know in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm going to meet someone else and I'm going to love them. I'm going to respect them. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I failed here. I failed there. I'm going to change. I'm so excited. Even though I was going through a breakup, everyone was asking, how'd you get over the situation over a couple of weeks? Because I was so excited about the future. I was so deeply excited about the future that I was going to have because I knew that God did not do this for some stupid reason. He did it for the reason to benefit me.
Dude, I love this. I love this so much. I want to change gears for a second. I know that you have a very poppin' social media, and I want to talk to you about that.
Sure.
Yeah, dude. And I also want to talk to you about growing up Bukhari and having a social media presence and a platform where you're doing these kind of creative things. It's not like seen as a typical kind of job, and it's like you were able to be successful.
I'll be honest. Listen, a lot of people live in the Baharian world. They live in a bubble. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
Baharian, this Baharian. I never had that experience. My experience was so traumatic in having a not normal lifestyle that to me, I don't even like I'm Baharian, but I didn't grow up that Baharian mentality where my father, grandfather, grandparents, all this shit controlling. That didn't work on me, right? So I was a rebel as a kid. So I never let the society norms affect me. I never gave a crap what others thought about me. I was setting up table events in the middle of Queens Boulevard, 63rd Drive in Queens, selling Time Warner cable services. Most Baharians are walking by, calling my mom, saying, "Oh, what's going on with your son? Is he going to be able to pay rent this month?" I'm like, "Mom, don't worry about me. I have a plan. My plan is not to do this for the rest of my life. It's just to learn a skill set, make some money, and then I'm going to figure it out." I'm 24 years old. I'm making 80 grand at the time. It's not a lot of money, but it's my first time making real money because the past 5 years, I was making 30 grand max. So I finally found something. All I got to do is sit outside in the cold and talk to people and sell them cable and internet. Fuck it. Oh, I'm knocking on doors. Who gives a shit? I was knocking to Forest Hills, Queens, everywhere, right? I was knocking everywhere. And Baharians would see me. Oh, I know you. What's your last name? I'm Barayev. It's okay. They would laugh at me. They would smile at me. Someone would like me. Someone, I didn't matter. I just wanted to get my dreams and my goals. It didn't matter what others thought of me. Too many people put too much emphasis on what will other people think of me. And I don't understand that. I never understood that. Who cares what they think? And people say that out loud, but they really do care. They genuinely care. They actually care about the criticism. I have so many negative comments sometimes and negative DMs. It doesn't fucking. I had a guy I interviewed. He has like a couple 100,000 followers. He's one of my friends. I like, do comments, negative comments bother you? He's like, yeah, they hurt sometimes. To me, not fucking once does it hurt me. I never
Mhm.
give a fuck. Put the comment on my table. I will piss on it. It doesn't matter to me because I promise you that person will not have the same comment in front of my face. That's guaranteed. Most of the
Yeah.
time, it's Joey sitting in his mom's basement in Oklahoma on his keyboard with his holes in his underwear. He ain't gonna fucking say that to Michael Barayev in his face. No, but listen. I've never had someone come up to me and say something negative to my face. Maybe because they're afraid, maybe because they're worried. I don't know. But even if they did, it's always behind your back. 90% of the time. They're always going to say something behind you because it's easy. It's easy to spit fire out behind people's backs. It's easy to take dirt and throw it. And usually when you throw dirt, it goes right back into your fucking face because the wind slaps you with it. So I never cared what others thought. And by the way, they're not where I want to be. So why do I care what they fucking think? It's like a fat person worrying about me going to the gym. No disrespect. I don't give a fuck about what a fat person thinks about my lifestyle. Who gives a shit? So most people that were saying these things are busted broke. They don't live the life that I want. They don't have the marriage that I want. They don't have the lifestyle that I want. So why do I put so much emphasis on what they fucking think? And by the way, that could be mom, dad, uncle, cousin. Oh, Michael, you need to respect your parents. I respect them, but I don't care what they think. Doesn't mean that I don't respect them. I respect your opinion, Grandpa. I respect your opinion, Babulia. I respect your opinion, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters. At the end of the day, thank you for your opinion. I appreciate you even consider to even share your opinion with me. Thank you. I will look into that. You fucking move to the side and do what you want to do. Because you're over 18. If you're under 18, you're under their house, you got to listen to that. But if you're an adult, Do what you want. Oh, Michael, I'm living with my mom at 25 years old. Move out. Why are you living with your mom at 25 then? If you're afraid of their opinions and they're controlling you, then go out. Oh, you don't have a job, you don't have money. There goes the problem. The problem is not your mom and dad. The problem is you. So you got to get to the root of the problem. So I learned not to give two squirts of piss what other people think of me. And when you let go of other people's opinions, you feel good. And by the way, this could be your wife too. Why do you care what your wife thinks? Aren't you supposed to be supporting your wife? Now you can listen to her, hear her perspective. Oh, I don't think you should be doing this business. Really? Why not? Oh, because I don't want you to go out there and talk to people. It's very weird. Okay. Weird for you, not weird for me. I need to make money. You want to fucking go work? You want me to fucking give the tip to the kids? No, I got to go fucking hustle. What does it matter how I do it? This is what I always say to myself. Is it helping God's children? Yes or no? Yes, great. Is it ethical and moral? Yes, it is great. Does it bring a lot of money? Yes, great. I'm doing it. Those are the two questions I ask myself. Helps God's children? It's a good, ethical, moral product to serve people and help them get closer to their dreams and goals, whatever it may be. And number three, does it bring in money? If it doesn't have one of these three, I'm out. So it's a very simple filter for me. Nowhere does it say, does your wife think it's a good idea? I don't care about my wife's opinion when it comes to that. Well, I ask her what you think and this and that. Yeah, of course I love her. But guess what? I'm not asking people's opinions because 90% of the people's opinions come from a place of fear, doubt, worry, disbelief. So that's going to give me the same exact life of fear, doubt, worry, disbelief. And I don't want that shit. I want to live a different life. I want to change my life. So I got to get out of the norm, stick my head up against out of the crowd, and get some tomatoes thrown in my face. Whoop-de-doo. And then somehow you become successful. And then they always say, oh, I knew he was going to become successful. Oh, I was the one that knew him. Now everyone fucking knows Michael Barayev. But back then, they didn't fucking want to know me. But it's okay. It's part of the process. I understand the game. So I always tell people, I encourage people, stop worried about what other people think. It doesn't fucking matter. And if it matters to you so much, then that's why you're living the life that you don't want to live, because you're shackled to their opinions.
Dude, I love the power. I love how much power that comes with. And like, oh man, I mean, it sounds like for you, it's kind of natural that you've never really cared so much about what people think.
When you live a life that nobody cares about you, that's how you
Mhm.
grow up thinking, because you're living in a very chaotic lifestyle. You go through foster care, growing up thinking nobody gives a shit about you. All of a sudden, people have opinions of you. Like, okay, you didn't give a fuck about me back then. Like, what does it matter? So maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Like I
Interesting.
said, everything happens for you and to you. You see what I'm saying? I am who I am
Yeah.
today because of the life I went. So I'm so grateful. If someone came up to me and said, yo, Michael, could you have changed your life to have a perfect childhood? Fuck no. I'm so grateful I've been through shit. I'm so grateful I got beat up physically, mentally, emotionally. I'm so grateful that I had those mental calluses that made me bulletproof who I am today. Because I would not be able to accomplish the things that I'm accomplishing today or have accomplished in the past couple of years or the things I'm going to accomplish ahead of my life if I did not go through those things. So it's happening for me. It's happening to me. And I believe that. Nothing is bad for me. Everything actually is helping me become the better version of me. And you have to go through those painful processes to become stronger. And most people, they shy away from it. They run away from it. I don't. I embrace it. I get excited about it. When things don't go my way, meaning the thought, the perspective that I have today, I'm like, holy shit, my perspective is fucking flawed. How can I see it from a different angle? It's like for me and my way, actually. And you actually start to see things, it's actually my way. Holy crap. Thank you, God. And that's when you build your faith because you see things from the right angle.
Dude, man, I'm literally my mind is blown. I feel like I needed this conversation, honestly. It's this is so powerful.
Well, I'm glad I was able to inspire you. Hopefully, this inspire other people too.
Absolutely, man. This is the stuff movies are made of. You know, like they should like if they're making a movie, it would be about this, you know? It's like starting from the bottom like that and coming up to where you are, and it's so inspiring. I mean, do you have thoughts on social media and growing and how do you feel like that connects with your business?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so social media to me is just a way for me to channel my curiosity and to express the way I think, the way I believe, and not give a fuck about who follows me, who doesn't follow me. A lot of people are worried about, oh, I got 5 followers. Bro, I was excited when I had 5 views on my videos. Someone,
Mhm.
I don't know if it was you or someone told me my YouTube, something about my YouTube. I don't know. I don't know if we talked about it in the beginning, but if I got one
Yeah.
viewer, I'm fired up, baby. Could you imagine having 10 people in a room listening to you? That's better. I don't give a shit. I started with one viewer. My first follower was my mother. It started off with one. Everybody starts off with one, right? I remember when I started TikTok, I had 100 videos I posted for 100 days straight. 100 videos for 100 days straight, and I got 100 fucking followers.
Wow.
I, I didn't stop. I didn't say, oh, that's it. TikTok doesn't work. No, I said, oh shit, these videos work. These videos don't work. Do this, add this, talk about this. Boom, 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 boom. And then we fucking grew, right? So now it's over 100,000 followers. And by the way, I've never fucking once bought a follower, ever. Right? Why? I don't give a fuck about that. I care about just inspiring people. They like it, they like it, they don't like it. Fuck off my page. That's my mindset. Whereas so many people want to look the par. They want to look like they're statusy, right? They want to look like they're fucking rich. They want to look like everything, but they're fucking not. I care about what's actually real. How are you on the inside? Right? I don't give a fuck what people think of me. I care what I actually have. Do I have the fucking money to buy it or not? Can I actually afford this? Can I not afford it? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I? For my own sake. I don't give a fuck what people think. Right? So my whole goal with social media is to inspire more people, get more people to follow my page, because the only way that I can add value to them and have money flow to me and exchange of value given to them is the only way is by having people know who I am. So being obscure is what stops you from becoming successful. So you have to have omnipresence. The reason why God is so powerful is because everybody knows about him. He's everywhere. He's everything. He's everywhere, right? So you have to be omnipresent. How do you become omnipresent? Well, you got to create valuable information or valuable content where people say, huh, who's this fucking guy? And by default, when you find things that are valuable to other people, they will follow by default. So if nobody's following you, you're not posting valuable shit. Or you just fucking started and it's okay. Don't fucking stop. Most people give up too soon before the fucking thing is about to explode. They post 99 fucking videos and they stop. They post 7 podcasts and they fucking quit. Keep fucking going. Don't fucking stop. I don't give a shit. Don't stop till the fucking either works or the platform says, hey, we're shutting down. Mm-hmm. And eventually you'll pop if the right content is there for the right people. And if it's not working after a couple of months, a bunch of tries, change your approach, change your strategy, change your tactic, change your fucking haircut. I changed my haircut, change my beard, change my shirt. I'm like, hey, let's change shit up. Change the angle, change the content, I didn't do interviews fucking 3-4 years ago. It just happened. I was curious. I want to know what people think. I'm inspired. I want to inspire the youth. Let's see what other people think. Boom, it fucking blew up. I didn't fucking know it was going to blow up.
Yeah, dude, I love your street interviews. And is it just about inspiring people? Like, is there something that you want to learn about them when you're asking these questions?
Yeah. So every question I ask is because I'm curious. It's questions that I would normally ask without the camera watching. So I'm a very curious person. So I'm very curious to know, how did this happen? So I started off with business questions. Then I started with relationship questions. Why? I'm single for the past year. I'm like, how do people survive 30 years in a relationship? How the fuck that works? How did you figure it out with kids? Like, I just started asking questions that actually matched what I wanted to know. And by default, it became a big following like that. So now it's more of like, it's business, relationships, but, because it all kind of connects, money. But to me, I'm very curious how people live their day-to-day lives and how they get what they get. And I'm always curious to see different perspectives because I don't have all the answers. So the more that I can learn from other people, the better first for me. And by default, what it does, more followers, they can see more of my content, I can find the right people that want to actually do business with me, either work for me or come do business with me, build a relationship with me, show me some kind of opportunity, or better yet, sell them a service or a product that they actually need.
Michael, before I ask you the last question, is there a place where people can find you and services that you offer if they want to connect with you? Like, where's the best place to go?
I mean, listen, I'm all over the place. I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. But if you want to DM me, you can DM me on Instagram. My first name, Michael _Barayev. That's Michael _Barayev. You can DM me. It's always me responding, right? So you don't have to worry about some bot, some person in China responding. It's me. Eventually, I'm gonna have to have it, where someone else helps me out, like a virtual assistant. Like right now, all my comments, to be honest, it's not me. Okay. Some of them are me, but 99% of it is my team because there's so many comments that come in. I try to reply to almost every single comment. There's thousands of comments that come in a day and it's hard to reply to everybody, but I do my best to, add value to whoever adds a comment because you put in the time and effort to comment on my shit. I want to show you that I love you and appreciate you. So if I've missed your comment, please don't kill me. DM me.
Dude, that's beautiful. Obviously, all the links will be in the description. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And I had such a good time. I'm honored to have sat down with you and had this conversation. I feel like you really inspired me, honestly. And, we were talking about views earlier, and it's like I don't have the most views. I've been looking, and it's not like the worst either. But for the beginning where I am, I'm very happy.
Who gives a shit? If you got one viewer, that's enough. It'll go to 10.
That's what I was gonna say.
Then it'll go to 100. Then it'll go to 1,000. Then it'll go to 10,000. Right? When I first started doing my Instagrams, I had fucking a couple of views. Okay, started doing more content. Got 100 views. Like, oh shit. Then it got to 1,000 views. Then it got to 10,000 views. Now I have videos that do millions of fucking views. It just you gotta not don't worry about the fucking views. Focus on inspiring one fucker. That one fucker, if he gets inspired, he'll go find 10 other fuckers for you. So keep going.
So, Michael, if there was one thing that you would want everyone to know that you could yell from the rooftops, what would that be?
God is great.
That's beautiful, man.
As they say in Arabic, Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, dude. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and follow, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Give us a glowing review. I am so happy to share these episodes with you. Comment down below what your favorite part of this episode was, and be sure to send Michael some love. This was an awesome conversation, and it was so inspiring to me. I hope that you gain value from this conversation as well. Additionally, guys, next week is going to be my 25th episode, which is huge. I'm so excited to put that out there. I got Guru Viking, who's going to be on next week. He's a fascinating individual. It was a great episode, great conversation. So stay tuned for that. And then I'll probably do a video on making 25 episodes of the pod. So this has been really exciting. Again, guys, follow for the journey, on Instagram as well, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're listening. Make sure that you are staying tuned or whatever. Make sure, Okay, guys, stay curious. You're more capable than you think you are. Think for yourself and to the rebellion.